welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Well, hello, all the storytellers of the world, book lovers, and people everywhere that are tuning in with us today. I am Tish Barnhardt, the author of So You Want to Be a First Lady, as well as Morning Tea with the King. I want to welcome you today to the grandest online event of the year, the Festival of Storytellers, Chapter 5. So listen, thank you for tuning into my author booth today, and I want you all to make sure that you follow, like, and subscribe to the Festival of Storytellers here at Reader's Magnet. So listen, today I have a guest who is a dear friend of mine and has been for many years. And I want to bring her to the stage today as she is going to be sharing with us some of her intake on reading So You Want to Be a First Lady. So without further ado, I want to welcome my friend, Patricia Morrow. Let's welcome her, you guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for having me on today.
I'm well. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. I am so excited that you have just graced us with your presence today to come on and be with us in the author booth today. So I know that you have had a chance to, of course, follow me and read the book. And, you've been here pretty much with every stage of it, from its conception to now. And so you also had an opportunity to go with me over to Germany last October. So I wanted to find out from you how that experience was going over to Germany and kind of seeing everything in action over there. How was that for you?
That was a great experience because it showed me how everything comes together, basically. I learned a lot, being over there about the agents, publishers, how everything, what's needed to succeed. It was a great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm telling you, girl, I'm so grateful that you went with me over there. I don't know how I would have made it over there alone. So I am so thankful for that. But yes, it was so many things and people out there everywhere, books everywhere, publishers everywhere, agents everywhere, and just really getting an opportunity to really meet the team here at Reader's Magnet was wonderful. And so I know that you wrote us a Amazon review. So I want to take a look at your review real quick. Let's show the world what you wrote about So You Want to Be a First Lady. Can you make it a little bigger for me, please? All righty. So Patricia's review said, woo, this book had me on an emotional roller coaster. It is an easy read because you want to know what happened next. It also makes you think about how you would have handled situations if you were in First Lady Smith's shoes. She kept her class, faith, and morals during trying times. It is an excellent book for book clubs too, for a great discussion. All right. Thank you for that wonderful review, girl. So now, what in the world made you write this review?
Well, the book, as you know, was a roller coaster ride. Um, it was a easy read. It was a great read, and it was emotional because
Mhm.
even though it was fictional, you knew of real life situations. You knew if you hadn't experienced it yourself, you knew someone who had.
Mhm.
So you could relate to the book. So
Mhm.
it was very relatable. Yeah, it was
Absolutely.
so real. It was so real until
Yes.
I have discussions about the book ever since I've read it, because when someone tells me something, I could tie it into the book. So it always takes me back. Ever since I read the book, it takes me back to some part of that book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because the golden nuggets, or the wisdom nuggets rather, at the end of those chapters are definitely key. Mark Costello said, "Hi, you beautiful ladies are beautiful." So we got a fan
Oh,
out there. So I know that, of course, you had some favorite parts of the book. And so with each of you, I've been allowing you to pick out some parts that were good that we could read and discuss. So I am going to read for us a portion of what Patricia likes. But before I do that, I want for us to be able to see the book trailer for So You Want to Be a First Lady. So let's take a look at it.
The moment you've all been waiting for. The book by master storyteller Tish Barnhardt. So you want to be a first lady? Well, her life isn't always what it seems. Beyond the veil lies the deceit, the lies, and the manipulation, featuring the distraught Carol Smith, master manipulator Leroy Smith, and the sneaky, conniving harlots and Jezebels using their immoral, seductive flattery to destroy the man of God, his marriage, and disrupt the ministry. Order your copy now on Amazon and all other retail outlets.
All righty. Now, was that not enticing enough? I'm telling you,
no.
hey, I want to get a copy myself. So listen, you guys can go to Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble, Walmart.com, any of the retail outlets, and pick up your copy of So You Want to Be a First Lady. So now I'm going to read us a tad bit of what Patricia likes today. Now, hers is coming out of chapter 5, which is called Upside Down. Well, we already kind of know where that might be going. All righty, so here goes. While First Lady enjoys the company and help from her new house guests, Sister Rondell and Sister Whitfield, her family still continues to struggle financially because her unemployment check barely pays the bills. Then, Sister Rondell informs the Smiths that she has found a place and will be moving out. Although Sister Whitfield contributes at times, First Lady often seeks outside resources to assist her and the family for things that are necessary to stay afloat. When First Lady leaves her home for appointments, she is blessed to be able to leave her children there with Pastor Smith, and on occasion, Sister Whitfield would be there to take care of them. Imagine her surprise when she leaves home one day to run errands. The kids are off to school except Jonathan, and Sister Whitfield is getting herself together to leave for work. First Lady tells Pastor Smith she will be back later because she needs to get the paperwork filled again for the Department of Social Services, and kisses him and leaves. After getting everything filed and done, First Lady heads back to the house. She has a lot on her mind and thinks about stopping to grab a bite to eat, just to have some time to herself to think. This sounds like a great idea to First Lady. So she pulls into a local restaurant and gets out. As she approaches the door, she hears in her spirit to go home. She stops for a minute and says, "Go home?" She ignores it and goes on to reach for the door. And the voice came back louder and says, "Go home." First Lady quickly begins to turn around and gets into the car to go home. On the drive back, she calls Pastor Smith, but he does not answer. Her mind starts racing and wonders if something is wrong with Jonathan. She continues calling and gets no answer again and again. Did something happen to Pastor Smith? She finally gets there and sees that Sister Whitfield's car is still in the driveway and wonders why she had not left for work. First Lady gets out of the car and opens the front door. She sees that no one is downstairs in the kitchen, dining room, or family room. So she goes into their bedroom looking for Pastor Smith, which is on the main floor, and he's not in there. And her heart is racing. To skip over a few, Pastor Smith gets on the phone and proceeds to call their ministry covering to help discuss and counsel them through this. But First Lady does not want them to know the situation because it's embarrassing. She stands in the kitchen and keeps rehearsing in her mind, seeing her husband and this young lady in this heated moment with his hands all over her, in a compromising position, and just gets angrier and angrier. Pastor Smith then calls his dad. First Lady hears him on the phone crying and pleading with him to come over because he is messed up. First Lady goes to their bedroom, shuts the door, sits on the floor, and cries. Pastor Smith enters the room and tells her that his dad is on their way there and drops to his knees and pleads with her to forgive him. The doorbell rings and Pastor Smith's dad, Billy Smith, walks in. Boy, did this old man have a way of talking to folks. He opens his mouth and says, "All right, Carol, let's go. Carol, you come out of there and get upstairs." Billy says to First Lady, "Now I know my son has done wrong, but you are not leaving him. You are going to work this out, and that is all there is to it. Now I've got to go to my meeting, and I'm going to call and check on y'all later. Y'all sit in this room and talk about this." He leaves. Sunday comes, and they get ready for service and leave. They enter the building with a united front, but everything with First Lady is not okay by far. Brother Whitfield is there and has no idea of what has transpired between his wife and Pastor Smith. Everyone at the church knows that Sister Whitfields are separated since they are no longer come together. A few knew Sister Whitfield lived with the Smiths, but does not know why Sister Whitfield has moved out of their house. Service has gone on for a while. Then in walks Sister June. First Lady holds her composure as not to alert that there is an issue between them. Pastor Smith finishes preaching and does an altar call, and Sister June goes up for prayer from him and begins to wail and cry. Although First Lady has a quarrel with Sister Whitfield, she is moved by her wailing. First Lady gets up and goes to the altar, hugs her, and begins to pray with her as well. As badly as First Lady is hurting and replaying the act in her mind of Sister June and Pastor Smith, at that moment she presses through it all and still shows the young lady love. She had forgiven her husband, so she must forgive Sister Whitfield and let it go. Wisdom nuggets, you guys. Past our first ladies and wives. As a woman, there are many things we face in life that you may feel warrant you're acting out of character and wanting to get even with the other woman. I know some of you would have dragged Sister Whitfield out of your house, fought her, cursed her out, or whatever. Understand, it wasn't just her involved, it was him too. However, please allow your integrity to speak for itself. You can be angry and have a right to your feelings, but in the end, you will win. Trust me, you will win. The integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the treacherous will destroy them. Pastors, men, as you are speaking with members and they are sharing their issues, do not bring their issues home to your spouses. Be careful about what you allow to penetrate your spirit, as you can open a door for unhealthy thoughts to enter your mind. If the thoughts are entertained, you can become overcome with them to the point of desiring and asking your spouse to become like someone else or to implement a fantasy that you've seen from TV, porn, etc. This can become a conflict in your home, especially if both parties do not agree with what's being asked of them to do. All righty, so that's enough for that one. So you guys have to pick the book up and kind of read the other lines that I kind of skipped over and all of that. But Patricia, please tell us why this chapter? What strikes out at you about this?
Because most people would have handled the situation differently. You may had to have, bail some people out after that. Um, but
Bail some people out of where? You mean jail?
yes, exactly. Um, but reading this does make you think, and that's what I was saying previously. Because reading the book makes you think about there are other options instead of just reacting. And most people would have reacted, and but instead of reacting in a negative way, of course you're hurt when you go through this experience, but it does show you options. And again, that's why I say First Lady always, even in trying times, she always walked, with her faith and maintained that level of integrity, which would have been difficult for most people, male or female, that would have been very difficult, but she did maintain. So that's why I have the highest regards for her, highest respect for her. And that's why those times stand out to me, because of her integrity.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely appreciate that. We definitely wanted to come from a place, of course, transparency here, so that, of course, our readers, and people that are experiencing situations like these that are found in the book and in the life, or through the life, rather, of First Lady Carol Smith here, that they can take a look and maybe react a different way, because like you said, sometimes we react first, right? And our first reaction sometimes can get us into a bit of trouble. And like you said, you might have to had bail somebody out. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say that have read this book, honey, I would have been in jail, or whatever, with certain things, or what they would have done, or in response to some of these situations that we see here. And so definitely I'm grateful for your candidness, with that, and just being real about it, because it is a real reality. Now, take the old me, long time ago, there was a lot of times that I would react very, very differently, and so, you thank God for deliverance. You thank God for, causing you to see things a little bit differently, even though your heart is racking with pain. And so oftentimes, we can experience things and we suffer, in silence. We don't have anybody that we can really tell about what we are experiencing and things like that. And we all have that, inside. We just all do. We've gone through things that we didn't want anybody to know. And so I'm not saying that we have to go out here and, put your business on Front Street, because that's definitely not what you want to do. And, the Bible does tell us about how love covers a multitude of things, right? And so, or sin rather. And so it is important for us to not always run out here to just be, trying to run somebody under the ground, or, bring about great exposure, or whatever the case may be, and so forth. But at the same time, I'm glad that there are books like these that are out there that can speak to that place for those that are afraid to speak to someone, because this will help, I believe, save many marriages out there. I believe it will also help those that are on the verge of having a nervous breakdown, not to break down, because they can see through First Lady's experiences how she was able to endure, how she was able to come out of that. All right, Judith said, hello, Tish. Glad that you are here today. Thank you, Judith. I'm glad to be here as well. I know that there were some more comments that were on there. If you'll flash a couple of those up so that I can kind of address some of those. And then I'm going to ask Patricia, of course, another question. Okay. Janet Abrams said, who made your trailer? Well, the George Sanders of the Daily Gospel Network, where my show airs, he made that video trailer for me. So I am the voice over the trailer, and I found some pieces of it, and he found the rest and put everything together. And he is just a genius. I always call him a genius. All right, Peggy Davis said, these bits of time where you read excerpts from your book are always made even better with your way of narration. Thank you so much, Peggy. This is my first time narrating, like I had mentioned, I think on yesterday. I don't know if you were on yesterday, but someone else said the same thing. And so I want to thank you for that. We're definitely getting ready, to get this Audible done. And I know Patricia is definitely one that I call on to bounce things off of all the time. And so she has been that sounding board. Patricia, please tell everybody how I call you all the time.
Well, again, the experience has been great going through this with you. I know you would call and say, how does this sound? And even when you would call me and say, and you would give me a little piece of the book, and I was like, oh, wow, I wish we could, continue, because you would give me a little piece of the book, and then, I'm wondering, how did this, end this chapter? So going through it just, increased my anticipation for it. I'm like, oh, I want to know more. So when the book, I would call you and say, Tish, when is the book coming out?
Yes,
Tish,
she did, you guys. Yes.
Yeah, because you would bounce things off of me, but now I need to know more, So yeah, that was fun. I did enjoy that. Like I said, the
Yes.
whole experience going through this was my first time going through it, so going to the book club, meeting John, Caitlin, the whole crew there, was a great experience.
Oh, yes.
And so I did enjoy that, just experience in Germany. That was an opportunity. So, I enjoyed and still enjoying the process.
Absolutely. That's my friend, y'all. Oh, hugs from afar here. You guys, I'm telling you, you need to have a good friend, in your pocket, that you can call, that you can bounce things off of, and, have lunch with, dinner or whatever. We do that all the time. And so we have another one in this little crew too, from the Pooty crew is what I call us. But anyway, I'm so grateful to be able to have her and to be a consistent friend, one that has not dropped off. And even through my hangups, hiccups, all of that good stuff, she's been right there to be able to see me through it and walk with me during this process. And so I definitely want to thank you openly, Patricia, for all that you do for your friends. Absolutely, all that you do. Okay, so there were a little bit more comments on there. Could I see some more comments so I can respond? All right, Kay said, just started reading your book. I feel like it'll deliver. Thank you, Kay, for getting my book and starting to read it. And I hope that you have enjoyed being on the live author sessions, of course, that, hey, made you go pick it up. But thank you so much for that comment. I love that. Debbie A. Dewar said, love the atmosphere, Tish. Thank you. Thank you so much. I thought to do something different with my author booth by way of having guests to come on that have actually read it, because I can tell you all day that my book is good and I think you need to get it and so on and so forth. But whenever you can hear from someone else who's actually read it themselves and then actually see their own review on Amazon, I'm not telling you no tale. Okay, John said, hey, Patricia, happy to see you with Tish again. Both of you are inseparable. Look, me and you us never part. That's from The Color Purple, you guys, if you haven't seen that movie yet, or the first one, the original one. But yes, definitely. Thank you so much, John. We're so grateful to have met you and the team out at Reader's Magnet. And thank you so much for how you have embraced me and my book. And just, we don't know what else is, on the horizon. So thank you so much. What other comments do we have? Eleanor Lavelle said, good afternoon, Mrs. Barnhardt. Well, I'm no longer a Mrs. I'm Miss right now. So Miss Barnhardt. But hey, I do hopefully that Mrs. will come along again at some point. So y'all all pray for me. Okay, what else do we have? All right, Chad Warren said, howdy, Tish. You look great today. Thank you so much, Chad. I try. Thank you. All right. What else? Do we have any other comments on there? Okay. So while we're waiting for that, Patricia. So
Yeah.
now, this book, as you were going through it, and you talked about the emotional roller coaster and everything, and of course, we've talked about, the first lady and how we know that many people would not have maybe responded the way that she did, and how it will help one to think of a different perspectives. So, what I want to do is I want to talk to you from the other woman perspective, not that you are another woman or the other woman, but what do you
Mhm.
think that the women that desire to be her um, could gain from this book?
You okay? You mean the women that desire to be the first lady? Is that your question?
Yes, yes, yes. From the experiences
What?
that you read in the book about how the other women were, in the book and the
Mhm.
different scenarios or things that they may have done, what do you think that they personally could gain?
Well, I think they should know what could happen because, again, this book. If you're involved in the church, I'm sure you've heard of this situation, so it's not unique. And they need to know that this is not a unique situation, and just to be prepared for it and know how to handle it. And I suggest that they would handle it similar to how the first lady in the book handled it. Don't pick up something and start swinging, and don't get in trouble. But just continue to walk by faith. So I think that again, this book is so real until there's a lot that you could learn from this book. And definitely, if you're planning to be a first lady, I can, you know, see this happening. That other women, because it happens everywhere you go, not only in the
Hmm.
church. I think this
Absolutely.
book could help others, not only a church situation. This is with your job, just in your personal
Hmm.
life. This book resonates just overall, and that's why I said people can relate to it. Don't think that the situations are just inside of a church, but the
Hmm.
situations will help you. And that's why when I talk about the book, it's like someone to tell me their current situation, and I revert back to the book like, oh my god, this reminds me of the book.
Hmm.
So, and it's not involved in a church scenario. So the book just, it's just life. If you, like I said, if you're not going through it, someone who has, whether it's a friend, a coworker, a relative. The situations are just every day. So it gives,
Absolutely.
yeah, it gives you a blueprint of of some things that you can, how you can handle these situations.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm so grateful to God for giving me the wisdom nuggets, to be able to put in the end, of that. Um, yeah, most definitely. Okay, so JP has a question up here. Tish, how do you find a believer having a relationship with a non believer? Will you advise the person to find someone with the same faith? So that's a very touchy subject, because the Bible does tell us that how can two walk together unless they are agreed. Now, I do understand that sometimes, we are in relationships already before one or the other may find their way, with the Lord. And, so certainly I'm not one to say, hey, get rid of this person, or anything like that. That would be something that I would advise you to pray and seek the Father on, if this is who you are supposed to be with, if you're not married, right now. And certainly, if you are, married, I would definitely encourage you to seek counsel. From some godly counselors or what have you, whether it's your pastors or marriage counselor or anyone on that magnitude, so that you all can figure out, the steps necessary to maintain a fruitful and long-lasting relationship. So thank you so much for that question, JP. All right, Judith Barton said, do you have anything cooking in the back burner? A new book, perhaps? Well, what's cooking right now is the Audible version of So You Want to Be a First Lady. And so you guys have been able to kind of hear a little bit, firsthand with this, but certainly you haven't been able to experience all that that is going to bring in terms of all of the voices. I am every voice that is in the book, and so, and it's on a different magnitude too. So that's going to be exciting, as well as some of the sounds and, theatrical things that, we have been adding to it. And so we are just vastly getting that finished, and hopefully that will be out soon. So that is definitely the next thing on the horizon. That's what's cooking next. All right. Anything else out there? All right, Bob Montgomery said, any ideas on what your future books will be? Well, I do have two more books that are cooking inside as well. So I'm going to say stay tuned for those. I don't want to release the titles to those books just yet, but they are definitely cooking. So Tish does have two more books that we need to get out. So hopefully we'll be working on those after the Audible is finished. So I do have chapter 1 wrote in one of them, and so we'll see. All righty. Well, listen, you guys, I think that's all we have for today. Our time has gotten away from us, and especially whenever you're talking about such good stuff, guys. So hopefully I'll be able to go back and review any other comments that are on there, and I definitely will respond to you if I didn't get to today. And Patricia, again, I want to thank you so much for coming on and fitting me into your busy schedule to come and share with us here at the Festival of Storytellers today. And you that are viewing in the author booth today, I want to appreciate you so very much. And those of you that have been on every day that I've been on supporting me here, I want to thank you as well. To my Facebook family that may be tuning in right now and listening to us as well, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, everyone from Reader's Magnet. Just thank you all so much. All right, I see you, Bob. Thanks for your time, Tish. Yes, absolutely. So listen, you guys, I want you to stay tuned with us. I'll be back on here tomorrow at 1 p.m. with another guest. And I'm sorry, I'll be back here this evening at 6 p.m. Back by popular demand will be Phil Standback, who is a male, you guys. So listen, ladies out there, get your boyfriends, your husbands, everybody, all the M's on this line with us tonight at 6 is going to be powerful. So listen, thank you again for tuning in, everybody, and we will see you next time. And as we say here at Reader's Magnet, we share your stories with the world. Bye now.